Good morning, Nigeria. It's a brand new week and we're live on Daybreak Live, right here on Dominion Television. I am Oluwayemi Adelakun.
And I am Samson Balogun. A very warm welcome to all our viewers across the country and beyond. It's Monday, the 21st of July, 2025, and we are grateful for another day. Thank God it's Monday.
Exactly, Samson. A fresh start, a fresh page, and
Absolutely.
we're here to bring you the headlines, hot topics, and honest conversations to kickstart your day the right way.
And of course, we have got a packed show today, beginning with Daybreak News, bringing you the latest updates from around Nigeria and across the globe. From politics to health, education to entertainment, nothing escapes our radar here.
And then we are straight into our newspaper headlines and analysis segment. We'll be flipping through the major dailies, looking at the stories making waves this Monday morning and giving you the deeper insight that matters.
And for our big story today, we are diving into a very timely and crucial conversation, constitutional review, what Nigerians truly want.
Exactly. The calls for restructuring, devolution of powers, true federalism, and citizens' rights have never been louder. The Constitution, they say, is the soul of a nation, but does ours truly reflect the will of the people?
Yes, and that's right. To help us unpack that, we'll be joined by Professor Abdulaziz Taufik, Head of Department at the English Language University of Abuja, a scholar, a voice of reason, and someone who has been actively following Nigeria's democratic evolution.
Right. You'll be helping us understand not just the legal and political framework, but also the language and spirit of the Constitution, how it affects our daily lives, and what meaningful change should look like for everyday Nigerians.
And of course, right after that, we'll head into Trend Watch, your favorite segment where we track the conversations and stories dominating social media, the streets, and the screens.
So grab your tea, get comfortable, and stay with us. This is Daybreak Live, and you already know when it's morning Nigeria, it begins here.
Absolutely right. You can join the conversation by following us on all social media platforms, Facebook, Instagram, and TikTok. It is at Dominion Broadcast, and on X, formerly Twitter, at Dominion Cast. You can also watch us live on our website, www.dominion.org.ng. Do well to subscribe to our YouTube channel at Dominion Broadcast. And the show begins. We'll be talking about something really interesting, but before that, good morning to you, Yemi.
Good morning, Samson.
It's another fantastic Monday.
Of course, the beginning of a new week.
Really nice to be here with you again.
A productive week. Really.
Absolutely right.
Yes.
Well, let's talk about Natasha Akpoti-Uduaghan.
I think it's something we've discussed over time on the show, but I feel like we've been on this matter for months now.
I think it's a story that has refused to leave the front pages of the newspaper. And, you know, I feel that if it is for the right reasons, fine, yes, it should be there. But then it is getting too long. I mean, the matter has been prolonged for far too long, talking about the fact that she's insisting I'm resuming on so-so date, and for the fact that she hasn't really done what the court has asked her to do. Wouldn't she be held for contempt of court? Okay,
really, I think you're very spot on, because when I read I had to read the ruling of the court again to understand what was going on between Natasha and the Senate. And then the court ruled that she should pay 5 million naira fine, and of course apologize to Senator Akpabio on two major dailies, newspaper, and of course, on our Facebook page. And up to now, I don't think she has done that. And this is the second time she's saying she's going to resume plenary on Tuesday. So I just want to say that, inability to interpret the law sometimes gives a lot of issues, because I recall there was a time that Akpabio had the same issue with Bukola Saraki, the then Senate president, and he apologized and everything went on fine. So I think because she's not ready to apologize, this issue is dragging, because the court did not mandate the Senate to actually say, okay, reinstate her immediately. But the court said that, a suspension unconstitutional, is excessive. 6 months, you are infringing on the right of the people of Kogi Central, not allowing them to actually,
have a representative.
Exactly, because she's unable to pass bills and a lot of things. But really, I think we need to look at both sides. She should, try to do the needful at this point in time. Really.
I think it also boils down to the fact that, see, I always say this to people. Sometimes ego and the rule of law, they do not go side by side. Sometimes when the law says something, you have to put your ego aside and then do what the law says. And I don't think Senator Natasha Akpoti-Uduaghan is alien to the Nigerian Constitution. She knows exactly.
She's a lawyer.
She's a lawyer. She's an attorney. So she knows exactly what the interpretation is. But what baffles me is the fact that she has not been able to do what the court says she should do. And what happens if she doesn't? See, this is just a means of giving the Senate an opportunity to say, oh, see, we told you so. And that is one. And also, looking at the current situation of things now, she is actually the one infringing on the right of the people of Kogi State. Because if there is, if you are going to challenge, for example, and there is a shortcut, I don't see a reason why you should follow, you know, the main express when you know, oh, I could actually get to this place, you know, with a quicker means. So, as it stands, it is now left to the people of Kogi State to now sit down and realize, oh, I think for me, I'll put it as excessiveness. It is one thing to be loved by the people. It's another thing for them to actually realize the fact that, oh, I think we are overemphasizing what should not really be, you know, talked about too much. In the long run, this boils down to the fact that she's trying to maneuver or maybe cut corners not to do what the court says. See,
or is there a chance that she does not really understand, you know, what the ruling says? Because I read that, you know, all the cases that she filed before the court were ruled against her, including the fact that, you know, she was not allowed to speak. Her seat was rearranged, so you cannot speak if you don't, you know, comply with that. So most of these things, I don't know whether people, or maybe the people that are representing her, have failed to explain some of these things to her, because the Senate is within the right to punish any member.
Absolutely
and
right.
Of course, I don't think the court has issues with that. Exactly.
On the floor. See, the thing is, if you're asking if is there any chance that she doesn't understand what you know, the ruling is, I would say it's a total lie. It's a fat lie, because she's an attorney herself. She has a group of experienced barristers representing her. So that tells you, even if one person gets it wrong, there are so many other persons on that table that will say, look, this is exactly what should be done. So and that's aside. The truth of the matter is, sometimes when you feel cheated, there's this anger from within that makes you do the wrong thing, thinking you are doing the right thing. I understand that perfectly. It has happened to so many people oftentimes. But hey, this is not an individual to an individual. The court is now involved. So whether you like it or not, you must just respect what the court has said. So, and it is nothing serious. For me, I think
so that you can represent the people. Because
it is nothing serious. Just for you to say, oh, I am sorry for doing this. They are not saying, oh, you are sorry for saying what you said it did to you. No, they are just saying, oh, I'm sorry for doing some things on the floor of the house, or maybe I have actually said some things that are unfounded. There are no evidences, which is fine.
I think you're spot on, because apart from this, I think there might be other things that we do not know, but we do hope that, I mean, she's going to, you know, follow the court ruling and apologize, so that she can represent the people.
The court has actually asked her to provide. See, if there are claims, there has to be evidences, because without evidences, there's nothing you can do.
She said she has a cast iron evidence, but we've not seen the evidence.
Prove them in court. Provide these evidences.
Okay, let's see whether she's going to, you know, go to the Senate building tomorrow. I'm very sure they are not going to allow her to enter.
Of course,
and we don't want to see any
standing rule that says, oh, you cannot allow Senator Natasha Akpoti into the chamber.
Exactly.
So if that is on ground, I don't think she was just going to go there and cause drama. Otherwise,
nothing will happen. Really. Yeah. Of course, so we look forward to what will happen tomorrow, you know, because she says she's going to visit the Senate tomorrow. And of course, we are going to keep you abreast of the development on that issue. Thank you for being a part of the segment. It's time to move on to Daybreak News. Please stay with us. We'll be right back. Grapes are versatile fruits that grow on vines and come in various shapes and colors, including green, red, and purple. They can be enjoyed fresh, dried into raisins, or transformed into juice and wine. Packed with antioxidant, vitamin C, and potassium, grapes offer a wealth of nutritional benefits. Incorporating grapes into your diet can greatly enhance your overall health due to their rich array of vitamins, minerals, and antioxidants. Here are some key benefits of grapes. It supports cardiovascular health. Grapes provide a significant source of potassium, which helps in regulating blood pressure. Additionally, the presence of antioxidants like resveratrol may offer protective effects against heart disease, making grapes an excellent addition to a heart-healthy diet. It promotes eye health. With antioxidants such as lutein and zeaxanthin, grapes contribute to better eye health. These compounds may help shield against conditions like cataract and age-related macular degeneration, supporting long-term vision. It aids in cancer prevention. Certain compounds found in grapes, including resveratrol and other polyphenols, have demonstrated potential in laboratory and animal studies for inhibiting cancer cell growth. This makes grapes a valuable fruit to consider in a cancer prevention strategy. It enhances digestive health. The fiber content in grapes is beneficial for digestion and can help prevent constipation, promoting a healthy digestive system. It offers additional benefits. Grapes also contribute to immune function due to their vitamin C content and support bone health through their vitamin K and mineral profile. By including grapes in your diet, you can effectively boost your intake of essential nutrients while enjoying a delicious and refreshing fruit. Good morning. This is the Break News on Dominion Television. My name is Oluwayemi Adelakun. President Bola Tinubu departed Abuja for Ijebu, Ogun State to honor the late Awujale Oba Sikiru Kayode Adetono and also to participate in the 8-day Fidal prayer for the Awujale. Accompanied by the First Lady Oluremi Tinubu, the President landed at the Gateway International Agro-Cargo Airport, Alisan, Iperu on Sunday. The President and his wife were received by the Governor of Ogun State, Dapo Abiodun, and his wife, former Governor of the state, Olusegun Oshoba, Chairman Governors Forum and Kwara State Governor, Abdurazak Abdurrahman, Governor of Ondo State, Loki Ayedatiwa, Ekiti State Governor, Biodun Ebanji, among top Ogun State paramount rulers and chiefs. The Economic and Financial Crimes Commission, EFCC Chairman Ola Olukoyede, has revealed that 18 current 7 governors are being investigated by the Anti-Graft Agency. Olukoyede disclosed these during a sensitization program for movie producers, musicians and bureau de change operators in Lagos State. He, however, did not name the governors being probed or give further details of the investigation. Moving on, delegates and aspirants of the All Progressives Congress APC in Ibadan North Federal Constituency were left stranded as Independent National Electoral Commission (INEC) officials failed to attend a scheduled primary election, with the by-election scheduled for August 16th. It revealed that despite agreement on the primary election date, INEC officials were absent. Party delegate and aspirant waited over 8 hours at the Yemetu APC Party Secretariat. Delegate and aspirant expressed surprise and frustration to them. Lawmaker Olusegun Laleye emphasized the party's commitment to democracy, while youth leader Aremu John insisted that the party would conduct a free and fair process.
According to what we all agreed, what the party members want, we want a free, fair, and credible election, whereby we can choose who we want them to go and represent us. People should have the impact in whoever they are sending over there, because if you look at the political settings in Nigeria, there has been a lot of imposition, and this brings a lot of division in parties. This is what led to the APC. This is what sent us out of government in Oyo State here, APC in Oyo State.
Ever before now, we've been expecting that the schedule, the exercise schedule, will be followed. But due to the death of our former president, President Muhammad Buhari, they declared 3 days holiday, which affected the schedule, and this makes it so difficult to actually get it aligned. And despite that, we've been here since morning. The party members are here since morning in Ward 7, waiting for the setup of the exercise. But it's unfortunate, with the information we're gathering from the APC state office, that we should just relax. Let us have a very nice and calm situation in the world. And we've been doing that, still awaiting.
We are on course Everything is dependent on the committee from Abuja. We had issues, but it has been resolved.
So are the committee still going to adopt the primary tomorrow?
They are going to get back to us soon. We met earlier in the day, and we were asked to reconvene. Now, the consensus is we will meet again today.
And democratically, contest for 5 delegates in each of the ward, and that will bring 60. It is when we have the delegate congress today, when they produce 16 names, 5 delegates per ward, that will not be the 5 delegates per ward that we go and, be the delegate as been certified by the party to run the actual primaries, which everybody will not contest for. But as it is today, there's no delegate congress. Nothing of such happened. Nothing has taken place. All our supporters are there across all the wards. If you go there, you see them physically present, waiting for the committee to come down and conduct this election with support of the party. But nothing of such has happened. And as true Democrats, that is where we have a contention. And we believe this issue will be resolved. We believe the party will remain strong. We must avoid anything that will disunite us as a party, as a people, because this election is a litmus test election. It's an election we have to win for the party. It's an election we have to win for Mr. President.
The Oyo State electorate awaits the emergence of candidates from participating parties, with INEC urged to ensure a credible performance. The International Council for Ifa Religion, ICIR, has threatened legal action against the Ogun State government and the family of the late Awujale of Ijebuland, Oba Sikiru Adetono, for violating the traditional right for the burial of traditional rulers in the state. Speaking at a press conference in Ibadan, the Oyo State capital, the president of ICIR, Dr. Fayemi Fatande Fakayode, referred to the last judicial pronouncement on the matter when the late Awujale was alive, which upheld the burial of traditional rulers according to the customs and traditions of the Yoruba people, as against those of foreign religions like Islam and Christianity. Recall that the monarch who joined his ancestors on Sunday, July 13, 2025, at the age of 91, was reportedly buried according to Islamic rites. The Lagos State government has impounded more than 10 articulated trucks for violating access restrictions on the 3rd Mainland Bridge. The operation was carried out by the Lagos State Traffic Management Authority, LASMA, following months of sensitization and public advisory, and disclosed in a statement issued by the Director of Public Affairs and Enlightenment Department of LASMA, Adebayo Taufik, on Sunday. The Special Advisor to the Governor on Transportation, Shola Giwa, said the crackdown on heavy-duty vehicles was in line with the state's commitment to public safety, infrastructure protection and compliance with traffic regulations. In business, President of the Dangote Group, Alhaji Aliko Dangote, has said that the Dangote Petroleum Refinery in Lagos is currently going through a modification process to upgrade it from 650,000 barrels per day to 700,000 barrels per day. Dangote disclosed this during a chat with newsmen during a recent tour of the refinery in Lekki, Lagos. The upgrade, which is expected to add another 50,000 barrels per day to the facility's nameplate capacity, is expected to end in the 4th quarter of this year. Dangote said the largest single-train refinery could not reach 100% capacity this year due to the modifications going on, expressing confidence that the modification will scale up the oil refinery. And in sports, Nigeria's Flying Eagles dominated the group stage best 11 of the ongoing West African Football Union (WAFUB) on the 20 championship in Ghana. 4 players from the team were included in the selection compiled by the competition's technical study group. The 4 players are Ahmed Akinyele, Odina Kalkoro, Bidemi Amole, and Mohamed Abdullahi. The Flying Eagles started the competition with a 1-1 draw against host Ghana. Aliyu Zubari's side then trashed neighbors Benin Republic 4-1 in their second game. You can visit our website on www.dominion.org.ng to watch us live and interact with us. You can also follow us across our social media platforms, Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, YouTube and LinkedIn at Dominion Broadcast and X at Dominion Cast. That's the breaking news. I am Oluwayemi Adelakunse. Thank you for watching and good morning. All right, thank you for staying with us. This is the Daybreak Live on Dominion Television. And of course, in this segment, we'll look at the major headlines across the dailies. And this morning, let's start with the Guardian newspaper. And of course, I have quite a number of interesting headlines on that paper. Let's look at this one that says, Edo, Benue governors under fire for theft to Obi. I don't know if you watched that video over the weekend, where the governor of Edo State said, to Peter Obi that, what, the next time you come into the state without getting clearance from me, I cannot guarantee your security. And of course, apart from that video, a lot of persons have come out to say a lot of things concerning, what they consider to be threat to life. And of course, I think in the Constitution of Nigeria, it is anyone's right to move into another state and even stay there permanently. So the law allows you to relocate and stay in any state of your choice. So as a matter of fact, Nana Kazuri, of course, a member of the Labour Party, also, in an interview said that, the governor of Edo State does not have the right to actually say that, Peter Obi, you cannot come into the state, without getting clearance from me. And apart from him, a lot of other persons have also complained bitterly about this incident, because they feel like, as a governor of the state, I mean, he was also a former governor. You cannot tell him or any other person to say that, okay, you cannot move into the state or you cannot come into the state. And of course, the governor of Edo State also mentioned the fact that last time Peter Obi came, about 3 persons died. And of course, within that right, he's saying that Peter Obi cannot just enter Edo State at will. We look forward to what's going to happen, because, I mean, according to Nana Kazuri, she said that should anything happen to Peter Obi, Monday Okpebholo should be held responsible, and that's a very strong statement. We hope that they can resolve this. A lot of persons have called out to say that, just apologize to Peter Obi so that we can move past this. But I'm not sure that's going to happen soon. Well, we can't tell. Maybe the apology will come in, before the close of work today. Let's move on from that and then talk about another headline on the Guardian newspaper. We have this one that says, Ifa Council to sue Ogun government over Awujale's burial. Ever since, the former Awujale of Ijebuland was buried, I mean, issues upon issues going by the fact that the traditionalists were not allowed, to perform the burial ceremony. It was done in an Islamic way. And of course, traditionalists across the country, even outside the country, have complained bitterly about the fact that, this is a total aberration. If it was brought in, through that means, why should he be buried, without that? Okay, so let's move on and talk about another headline this morning. I have this one that says, PSC offers fort plan protest by ex-officers over pension scheme. That's taken from the Guardian newspaper. Well, I read the report yesterday. It talked about a lot of things. Ex-officers, they want to go on the protest, because of some certain things. They want to be taken off, a particular mode of payment, because they said that the AIG, the IG, they are not on that scheme. So why should, other persons like the CP and other, lower officers, be on that scheme that is not, beneficial to them? They also mentioned the fact that a lot of them are actually going through, borrowing money. They cannot feed their families properly because of that particular scheme. So I do believe that is something that the government can look into. I mean, this should not, result in a kind of protest, that might injure a lot of persons. Moving forward from that, let's also take a look at some headlines on the Nation newspaper. I have this one that says, state slow down on loans following rise in revenue. And that headline as this rider, petrol subsidy removal raises income. I think over the last few months now, close to 2 years now, I think state government have been doing well in terms of ability to pay the salaries of their workers because of the increase in the revenue. However, some governors are actually doing some certain things that a lot of Nigerians are not quite okay with, because they feel that because of the excess of the money, a lot of them are actually pumping the money into certain things that are not really beneficial to the people of their state. However, we do hope that soon enough they are going to have a ground, and of course make sure that the money is used for what it's supposed to be used for. Let's cross over to the Daily Trust newspaper this morning. I have this one that says, Governor Rada involved in Daura Katsina road crash. And of course, when I read the report yesterday, it was a minor accident, according to a spokesperson. But we do hope that we get back on his feet soon. Moving on to another headline this morning, I have this one that says, stay away from National Assembly, Senate wants Natasha. We've been on this case since March. Natasha was suspended in March, and of course she said for the second time she's going to resume plenary tomorrow. And of course, looking at the court ruling, the Senate is yet to tell her that okay, you are allowed to come and resume fully. Why? Because she has not done certain things that the court asked her to do. Things like pay 5 million naira, and of course apologize to the Senate President, Senator Akpabio, and of course on 2 major newspapers, and of course on your Facebook page. But up to now, I don't think she has done that. But then she says she wants to resume on Tuesday. Let's also not forget that most of the cases that she filed in court against the Senate President were ruled against her. our seat was rearranged, she was not allowed to speak, and reasons like that. But the court also mentioned that, you know what, she has every right to represent her people. Hence, this suspension, 6 months, is actually too much, is excessive. However, let's not forget the fact that the Senate is within right to say or to punish any member. We look forward to what will happen today. Will Senator Natasha head straight to the Senate building this morning or tomorrow morning or not? I look forward to how that is going to play out. Let's also look at another headline that I have here with me. It says, ADC to Tinubu, no electricity, no vote for you in 2027. I think this coalition, they are beginning to take their opposition responsibilities very seriously. And looking at the fact that a video circulated online yesterday where the current president of this country, while he was still campaigning, said that if you have issues with electricity, don't vote me the second time. And a lot of persons have come out to say, especially members of the coalition, they are saying that, you know what, you told Nigerians that should they have issues with electricity, they should not vote you, and they can hear you clearly. Of course, the presidency, have been saying certain things about the fact that they've been able to actually, better the lives of Nigerians in terms of electricity, going by what Nigerians experience and the past administrations. You are the person to judge that. Really, if you're looking at us this morning, watching us this morning, what do you make of the current, state of electricity in the country? Do you think the president, has done enough to actually make sure that things are better for the people? All right, let's cross over from Daily Trust to Vanguard newspaper. I have this one that says, why Obi El-Rufai are yet to join ADC. And of course, that headline asks these writers, ex-PDP Governors Forum DG joins ADC. Obedient one party against selling presidential ticket to IS bidder. Omagege has no plan to leave APC, but Ayiri Emami, no ADC leader can inherit Buhari's 12 million block vote that's coming from Okechukwu. A lot to unpack in this, because really, El-Rufai is a member of the SDP, Obi is a member of the Labour Party, and of course, the Labour Party is actually of two factions now. We have the Nenandi faction, we have the Abure faction. The Abure faction is saying that they are going to expel Peter Obi. Why? For, having some things to do with the coalition party while he's still a member of the Labour Party. The Nenandi faction is saying that leave Peter Obi alone. He has taken, he has spoken to us about this. He has every right to actually speak to these people on issues that concern him. What do we make of this? I think, the leadership crisis that is going on in the Labour Party might actually, affect a lot of things if care is not taken. Because according to the court ruling, Abure, his tenure has expired, but he has refused to leave. Even if you check the INEC portal, we still have Abure as the national chairman. So a lot of issues to unpack there. Why is he still there? It appears to me that some issues can be settled legally but remain politically unresolved. One of the things that we want to discuss this morning, what is actually going on within the Labour Party. We look forward to things that will come up in the next few weeks on that point. Let's also look at this major headline on Vanguard newspaper. I have this one that says, later, Udale stood for revalidation of June 12 polls. We've spoken about that. Also, let's look at another headline that I have with me. Says, defection. Adeleke's negotiation hits brick wall. That's coming from APC. I've read several reports on this issue. Adeleke himself, came out recently to say that I remain a member of PDP. I'm not crossing over to another party. However, some APC persons are saying Adeleke is desperate to join APC. So who do we believe in this situation? Let's also not forget that, the Osun State, governorship election is very close. So it's a lot to unpack. But I want to tell you that 24 hours is even a long time in politics. Anything can happen between now and 12 a.m. So let's fold our hands and look forward to whether he will definitely, jump ship to the APC. Moving away from that, let's also look at this one that says, subsidy remover, turnover profits soar in oil companies. And of course, I think we've been seeing that recently, but we do hope that things will get much better for the people. We hope for reduction, of course, in the price of fuel as well. Let's cross over to the Punch this morning. I have this one that says, race to 2027, PDP's flag bearer battle begins after Atiku's exit. And that headline asks this writer, zoning consensus strategy top Thursday's PDP's neck agenda. Makinde, Bala, I-ticket. Really, Makinde of your state, do you see him, taking up, contesting, for the ticket for the primaries and the PDP? A lot of persons have also, submitted that it is possible Peter Obi, go back to the PDP, because according to major stakeholders in the PDP, they have said that, Peter Obi is our product. If he comes back, we are going to allow him. And of course, Atiku left the party again. This is not the first time that Atiku will leave that party and come back. Recall that he left in 2014, with some other members of the party. He came back, he left again, and he has left again. Now we don't know whether he's going to come back. I don't know. It's a funny scenario. And I think someone mentioned one time, Atiku, his doctor, recommended, presidency for him, that he must become president of the country. But really, I don't see it that way. President Muhammadu Buhari, the late president, contested severally too until he won in 2015. So really, let him keep trying if he wants to try. So we don't know who is going to take up that ticket from the PDP, Labour Party, and of course the coalition. We'll look forward to that. Of course, I have another headline this morning that says doctors to begin nationwide strike Thursday. See, when it comes to health issues, these are very serious issues, ladies and gentlemen. We should not take this very lightly. It has to do with the lives of the people, because if these people are clamoring for some certain things, I think it's high time the government call the major persons in that sector, sit them down. How can we actually, how can we respond to some of your desires and grievances? These people should not go on strike anyhow. A lot of people, a lot of Nigerians will suffer. Let's also not forget that, the standard now, doctors, to patients, is something we don't even want to talk about. It's really low. We need more hands. A lot of doctors are jackpine, permit me to use that line. They're leaving the country. Why? Because of, the situations. Let's look forward to what will happen. I really hope that the doctors will not go on this, strike. Let's leave Punch and of course look at a few major headlines on Nigerian Tribune before I turn to Samson Balogun this morning to help me make sense of some of the top stories that I have with me. I have this one that says top choices for CBN over interest rate, and of course I have this headline that says Obi won't be denied right to seek presidential ticket. That's coming from ADC. It appears that the body language of some members of the ADC, they wanted to go to Atiku, some wanted to go to Obi. We don't know who is going to have the ticket at the end of the day. And of course, this headline is saying, Senator Natasha, stay away from National Assembly. That's a very strong statement. We do hope that, some of our supporters, we talk to her about these, issues, because we don't want a situation whereby this will drag on for long and our people will suffer. Really, it's something that should be looked into. All right, thank you for staying with us on the major headlines this morning. It's time to turn to Samson so we can talk about the major headlines that we have this morning. Samson, welcome back on board. All right, let's look at this first one. A lot of things have been said online. You need to see the comment section. The headline says, Edo, Benue governors under fire over threat to Obi. Did you watch the video at all?
Yes, I saw the video, and I think, many a times Nigerians tend to quote people out of context. And, for a governor, a sitting governor, who knows the gravity of every speech he makes, to have actually come out to say that there must have been a reason. And, of course, when defending that, he mentioned that the last time Peter Obi came to Edo State, it resulted in death of some people.
Do you think that is enough reason?
I think that is enough reason, because, really? See, there are reasons why, governors can actually come out to say that. As the chief security officer of each state, they currently rule, that they have every right to say, look, this is how I want to do things in terms of security, because it all boils down to the fact that they will say, oh, you get a security vote, why are you not doing this, why are you not doing that? See, if there are tendencies, or if there by any chance there is a chance that there might be a security crisis if you visit, there might be a protest if you visit, some venues or locations might be overcrowded when you visit, you must consult, the security personnel in that state.
Don't you think that is an infringement on his right? Because in
it's
the
not
Nigerian
an infringement.
Constitution,
this is not like they are saying this to an average, an average Nigerian who is just trying to cross borders. No, it's Peter Obi, for crying out loud, who that with his current popularity amongst youths, whenever he goes now, there tends to be so many people who would come there to say, oh, we want to see Peter Obi.
So because of his popularity, he's not allowed to travel to state?
It's not like he's not allowed to travel, okay. But then he's, he has to, consult people on ground for security reasons. See, even governors, even states, they provide, security for people who are visiting, especially high-profile politicians. Because aside from you coming with your protocol, something has to be on ground for you to actually meet. So you can't just walk into a state, especially. Just imagine, he was the presidential candidate of the Labour Party in the last election and got about 6 million votes, if I'm not mistaken. So that tells you that his growing popularity among youth and of course the Nigerians in general tells you that when you walk into a state, you must notify governors in each and every state you are visiting. Not because they don't want you to come to their state, but because there are potential dangers and there are potential crises that might erupt if you visit. Not because of you, but because see, the truth of the matter is Nigerians really need to calm down as regards quoting people out of context. But then that does not underemphasize the fact that the governor was too blunt about how he puts things out.
I don't see this issue as people trying to quote him out of context. The video was there. A lot of persons might even assume it's AI generated, but it was a clear video of him saying it, and I don't think his state government has come out to debunk that. So really,
even when he said what he said, defending what he said, he never mentioned that he didn't say it.
Of course,
he said I said it. So
that's why I don't agree that people were trying to quote him out of context. He said it, and even said, I'm serious. Because let's not forget that some certain persons might use this as a loophole to actually carry out some activities, and at the end of the day the governor will be blamed.
I was just coming around the fact that we cannot underemphasize the way the governor actually put it out there. I think that is too harsh, and that could have actually been sorted out between the two parties, the Labour Party, I mean Peter Obi, and of course the state government in Edo State. But be that as it may, the governor has said it, but all that remains now is that it should be high on doubt. If the government had provided a circular before then, that, as a high-profile politician, if you are coming to Edo State, notify us probably 24 hours, 12 hours ahead of time, so we can provide protocol for you, provide security for you, so that the fact that Edo State is volatile, this and that, then you must have a good reason for doing that. But the governor just came out and said this and that, and then people were like, so you mean that if any politician, especially Peter Obi, comes to Edo State
like his presence can incite violence? I mean, some people might interpret it that way.
I think there is a new order in Edo State, and the governor wants to make sure that everyone that comes in and out of Edo State is accounted for.
Indeed.
And if that is to be done, there are processes, there are protocols to be followed. But then the governor actually jumped, about 4 or 5 steps into announcing that.
He said a new sheriff is in town.
I mean, see, regardless of if a new sheriff is in town, there are processes, there are protocols. You can't just come out and see. You cannot make reckless statements in a country like
there's
Nigeria
a better way to say that, really,
and not get punished for it. And that's exactly what is getting now. If you check Twitter now, is probably one of the topmost topics people are talking about on Twitter. So it tells you that, look, there are statements you cannot make as a citizen.
Even Femi Falana, I read a story yesterday that said that he needs to apologize to Peter Obi, and if it does not, Peter Obi and the Labour Party have every right to sue him to court based on that.
The law has something really do not have a soft spot for threats. So if you have threatened someone in any way, see, even that statement can be twisted into about 4, 5, 6 different ways.
Let's even leave politicians out of it. Do you know that when issues come up between two friends, or maybe enemies, if you like, and then someone says, okay, if you try this, if you come my way, I cannot guarantee your safety. Do you know people go to police station to report issues like that? That's
what I was saying.
Popular politician.
The truth of the matter is, the statement was actually reckless. But I wasn't trying to defend what the governor said. All I was trying to say is, it could actually happen that the governor comes out and say, look, this is what is happening in my state right now. We have security crisis, and if you are coming in and out, for us to be sure that you'll be coming in alive and living alive, you must, tell us ahead of time so that we can provide protocol for you. It is fine. But there are processes to follow. You send a note, put a circular out there so that people will know, this is exactly what is going on in Edo State. But you cannot just come out and then say that to just one person. What happens to other people that comes into Edo State?
Diplomacy wins sometimes.
So sometimes, even if you don't like someone's face, the ways and manners you put things out there really matter. And this has actually shown that sometimes even governors can be reckless with statements out there.
Really?
So, and I think people who handle his media should do a lot better.
They should.
And this is not the first time he's coming out to say things, and then people will be like, what exactly is going on?
Because according to, I think, Section 33 of the Nigerian Constitution, 1999, amended, you have every right to actually travel.
You can waltz in and out on any, of any state with no one stopping you, unless you have been flagged by the security agencies to say, oh, this person is actually, you know, a security risk for us, or probably that there is a credible intel that something is about to happen and you are stopped and checked. And if you are cleared, you are cleared. But this is way bigger than that. The governor has made a very reckless statement, and, you know, his people who actually handle his media, who handle his speeches, should do a lot better.
Of course, to try to, you know, sort this matter. All right, let's look at another headline this morning. I have this one that says PSC offers fought planned protest by ex-officers over pension scheme. So what do you make of this statement? Because, I mean, there's been complaint here and there about the fact that, you know, this scheme is not working for us. We are going to protest. Why is it that, you know, when Nigerians face issues like this, you know, protest is like the only way out? And a lot of times protest does not really work.
Well, you might say it doesn't really work, but you are making a statement. See, in a country like Nigeria, where, you know, when you you know, try to follow the normal process, the due process, you know, people don't look your way. They don't get to listen to you. The government in Nigeria they are very adamant that when you follow the due process, you know, you just might not get a look in, so they might not even look your side. And if the only way to get their attention is to be out there, and they realize the fact that businesses are about to be grounded, then I think that's a lot better. See, the truth of the matter is, in a country like Nigeria, I don't think pensioners should have a reason to suffer for anything, because these are the set of people who have actually, you know, put in a lot of work, a lot of shifts to make sure that, you know, they have a soft landing when they are retired. And then, lo and behold, this is Nigeria where pensioners struggle for everything. And
this is not the first time.
This is not the first time. There was, you know, story about Ogun State last week, where there was an arrangement with pensioners in Ogun State during the tenure of Gbenga Daniel. I think he paid for 6 months. You know, the counterpart funding, the civil servants paid some, the government paid some, and then Gbenga Daniel paid, you know, I think for about 6 months during his 8-year tenure, left. Ibukunle Amosun came, probably paid for some months too, also left. Governor Dapo Abiodun, who is now in his 6th year in office, has not paid a dime since he came into office. So what is the hope of this current crop of, you know, civil servants?
Even in Oyo State, I recall there was a time that a lot of them complained bitterly. I think that was the time of Ajimobi, I guess. A lot of pensioners
even under the Governor Seyi Makinde's administration, I think there was a protest not too long ago about, you know, what's going on, and I think the governor came out to say, look, yes, we understand your pain, we are going to settle it. I think in Oyo State, the governor knows exactly how to calm people down, and of course, probably in one way or the other, negotiate with them to get things fixed. But in some other states, what is the hope of someone who's working really hard, probably works for 35 years or thereabout, just to make sure I have something in the bank that when I'm retired, I can always say, oh, I can bank on this, and then relax and maybe do many jobs, or if necessary, not do anything. See, the definition of retirement in the advanced countries and that of Nigeria, there are two different things. And this, you know, pains me so many times that I compare these things. When an average British man tells you I'm retired, he's retired, for real. He's retired, he's probably not going to do anything again for life, gets his stipend at the end of the month, and he's okay, because all he wants at that time is to just eat with his family, maybe pay his rent or pay his mortgage. So that's all he wants. But for an average Nigerian, you realize the fact that even when they are retired, they are still looking for something to do. Take, for example, in the broadcast industry, someone works for, you know, maybe a government-owned broadcast, you know, house for maybe 35 years or thereabout. You see them just after that, filling up consultancy roles in private-owned stations, just to make sure they make ends meet. So it's not because most of them, or some of them, it's not because of their passion anymore. They are retired. At least for you to have retired in a place, it shows that, oh, I think I have given my all, it's time to go. But then you see them filling up positions in private-owned stations just to make sure that at least something still comes in just after retirement.
Exactly. Looking at the
because there are still bills to pay, and that boils down to the fact that the economy is not that friendly. No matter how much the government pays you in Nigeria,
so now, imagine people who don't even have the luxury of venturing into something else, and their only hope Is that pension?
Is the pension. I was talking to someone recently, and I realized the fact that some people are getting as low as 3,500 naira as pensions at the end of each month.
I went to the bank
some 6,000. I mean,
and I saw a man.
What,
that man should
for
be,
what exactly?
He should be in his early 60s or late 60s, and he was really struggling, you know, I think he had issues with his leg, and he was really struggling to actually, you know, enter the bank. He was actually trying to talk to people who can help him fill the form and the likes. And so, these people go through a lot of stress, you know, even when it comes to getting their money, they go to stress.
That's the problem. You know, this is the only place where you know, pensioners will come out to protest, and then some of them will collapse and even lose their lives just because they are coming out to say, look, this is what we are facing, and nobody is looking at their way. I think the respect for the aged in Nigeria is way too low, and the kind of package available to them is nothing to write home about. I don't think there's any package whatsoever, because if there is, I don't think we should see our pensioners who are still struggling just to have food on their table. And no, that's a potential disaster waiting to happen. No, because a time will come that average Nigerians wouldn't want to go work for the government, because they know that what will be the, you know, the outcome when I'm retired after 35 years.
There was a time in Nigeria, you know, a lot of persons will run after government jobs. Yeah. Why?
That's the problem. The welfareism, the packages are involved.
You get to go on leave for 1 month and still get paid.
And then what again will happen is the fact that that's when you have people who have actually risen through the ranks, and then when they get to maybe directorate position, you realize the fact that they begin to siphon and swindle people, all in the name of, oh, they just want to be okay, that even if you don't pay my pension. Do you know that there are people who are actually going to still be pensioners at the end of the day, who are still making life difficult for pensioners out there right now? They are in office, but they are still going to leave their office, become pensioners in the long run, but then they are the ones making it very difficult for the people out there who are already pensioners. So it's a systemic failure, and you cannot blame them too. Some people left their office, did the same thing. So it's more or less like they are passing the baton to themselves.
That's why we say that
they will be the ones to suffer the consequences.
Looking at the issues of this constitution, a lot of Nigerians are eager to come and talk about it. These are the areas that we need to look at. You know, all of these things that affect people. That's why it must be people-centered. You know, I don't know, the system of government that we adopted, those people were very indigenous about theirs, but Nigeria just adopted it hook, line, and sinker without proper
that's the problem.
Consultation from the people.
That is why you realize the fact that when we adopt policies from other countries, if it works there, it probably will not work in Nigeria. And that's because we do not localize our policies. See, if you are bringing a policy probably from the United Kingdom, you are bringing it to Nigeria, all you have to do is to, okay, do a critical analysis of that policy. How is it going to work in Nigeria? Not that, okay, it's worked in Europe, it should work in Nigeria. So there are structures you have to put in place.
And don't even forget that United States, they are even diverse, just like Nigeria. So it's not about the diversity. It's about the fact that we have refused to look at the complexities about the country, and we just adopted it. It's a lot. I don't want us to.
It's a lot to unpack, because if you go into that, there's a lot to say about it. There's a lot to talk about.
Let's look at another headline from the Guardian newspaper. I have this one that says, Ifa Council to sue Ogun government over Awujale's burial. I think I read the reports that said that, you know, the late Awujale wanted to be buried in the Islamic manner. So this Ifa Council coming out to say we are going to sue the government, really? Is it a fault of the government? I know they can do it. Is it a fault of the government?
Everyone has a right to, you know, head to court if they feel aggrieved or cheated in one way or the other. There was an headline yesterday that, you know, so I think the Ifa Council said, you know, the Awujale, you know, wined and dined with them, but betrayed them when he passed away. See, there's nothing you can do to the Ogun State government, because this was passed to law. You were there when these bills were being moved on the floor of the House. Nobody said anything. You cannot tell me that there's no one on the floor of the House in Ogun State that do not have a relationship with someone with the Ifa background or in the Ifa circle, who probably had to hint them about what is going on the floor of the House. This bill was passed that as a king, you decide which religion you want to, you know, whichever way you want to be buried. And then this was a bill that was moved by some of the kings in Ogun State. I don't want to say all of them, because I do not have the circular. So, but then some of them, and that includes the Awujale. And this was done, the bill was passed, and then it was executed. You would realize, if you saw the video when the Ifa priests were being chased out of the venue for the burial, someone was saying that order from above, whoever you see with Shaki, air chase them out. And they did exactly that. Why? Because the law must be upheld, and that's exactly what happened. See, it is enshrined in the
desire of the late monarch.
Yes, it is enshrined in the Ogun State Constitution. If you want to repeal that now, start the process. But then, if you go to court from now till next week, nothing will happen, because it is in the Constitution. The security personnel there, they followed protocol. This
and they tried so well to make
done.
sure that it didn't lead to any form of violence.
It should not.
It was done in a
because
very
it cannot lead to violence, actually, because whoever tried to cause problem at that particular place will be arrested and will face the wrath of the law. So it's see, I think I mentioned earlier on this show that you know, there's nothing you can do. Once the Constitution is involved and you are on the right side of the Constitution, you have nothing to worry about. And
of course,
I think the Ogun State government will just be laughing at that statement. You can go to the court the number of times you want. They do not care.
The lasting solution will be to actually, you know, sit with this.
It will be a dialogue. So if you want to now sit and then repeal that part of the Constitution and say, look, yes, it happened with the Awujale, it should not happen again. I, for one, believe it's something that shouldn't have happened. Is an aberration that a king who was crowned in the traditional way was buried, you know, in an Islamic way. I think it should not happen, but it's in the Constitution, so you cannot fight that. I'm also of the fact that I'm also of the opinion that, see, we are already throwing away tradition for religion. These are two different things. Your tradition, see, for example, when you as a Christian, there are things you do that you know that this is based on my religion, and then this is something you do based on your tradition. They are two different things. And as a Muslim too, you know that, oh, there are some things that are done because it is basically religion, and there are things that are done because it is basically tradition.
I also feel that
you do not mix the two things. They are two different things. So if you want now to go side by side and put these things on the table, you realize the fact that one of the things you must first do is to separate tradition from religion. Once you can understand that, then you'll be able to talk in so many places and say, oh, this is how things should be done. But then the Ogun State government knows exactly what to do at this time. They'll probably bring them to the table and say, look,
that's the best option.
It is nobody's fault.
The next
because when these bills were being passed, before these bills became an act, you were there. Nobody said anything. But then if you want us to work on this now, to say, oh, this is what should be done, then so be it.
And also feel to clear all sort of, issues that have been ongoing. The family members.
This should not lead to religious crisis in Ogun State.
The family members of the Awujale should be present as well, including
they definitely
representatives
have
of the government and of course the traditional chiefs, so that they can have a talk about going forward, what should be done, because the next Awujale will be crowned, and they don't know whether he's going to be a Muslim or a Christian. And I recall that some of the things I read about the Awujale while he was alive is that he was a very blunt person. He doesn't care who's going to get out. He says it as it is. And of course he made that known before his death that should he pass away, they should bury him in a Muslim way. So really we hope that they can settle this, because all these court issues, I've seen cases sorted in court but remain unresolved. In the political scene. So it's Nigeria of today is not about solving issues in the courts.
The court is actually a place to get judgment, not actually the place to resolve issues. Because even if you get judgment, has the case been resolved? I don't think so.
And really, there are other matters that the court wants to focus on. If you keep taking cases like this to the court every single time, the court will not arrest.
It's a different thing. It's actually a different thing to really? To win a case in court, and a different thing to totally quash any form of discrepancies, issues you have between. Yorubas will say, èèyàn méjì òun tilé ẹjọ́ dé kan wá padà wá dọ̀rẹ́ padà. So it's impossible. There are still going to be lingering, feuds between the two parties or three parties, whichever part, a number of parties involved. So that is why I said the only way to sort this issue is to call the parties involved to the table and have a heart-to-heart discussion with them and then solve it out. Because some kings are already echoing this sentiment already. Look at the Olu of Iwoland, who has been a vocal person talking about religion and tradition, saying, look, I'm not an Aborisha, I'm not this, I don't worship Ogun, because he himself is a god on his own.
Don't also forget that these things can lead to trends, because they will say that the Awujale was buried in an Islamic manner.
Actually, that's a precedent.
Why can't he also be buried in that manner?
The Ogun State issue is a precedent for some kings, or for some people to actually ride on and say, look, if it happened before,
and nothing was done,
it can always happen again.
So even after the discussion, I still feel like the Ogun State government should put out a kind of memo to let people understand how the issues
it will get to a
resolved.
stage. This is not, you know, I'm not an angel of doom, but I'm saying it will get to a stage where kings will believe, and they will, or potential kings or designates will think or probably believe that, well, if a king could be buried with no traditional rites, then I can also become a king without going through all the processes.
That might lead to chaos, really. And it's not good. It's not good for the state. It's not good for the people.
But then people
it's not
will
good for the
about
community.
that intention, saying, look,
it's better to nip it in the bud. At this stage, the king was recently buried. The people can sit and talk about this, and of course, come up with things that they can do to curb issues like this in the future. Let them have an agreement. People should not just come to the burial site and they are barred. They feel like it's their norm. They can come and do all of these things. So we look forward to how they're going to resolve their issues. And of course, we'd have a lot to talk about more headlines this morning, but time cannot permit us. Of course, we need to see our BYE on this segment. However, please stay with us because big story is coming up soon, and of course Samson will be joining you on that segment. My name is Oluwayemi Adelaku. I'm saying good morning and thank you for watching.
All right, good morning, Nigeria, and welcome to another compelling edition of The Big Story on Daybreak Live, where we bring context to headlines and amplify the voices shaping our nation. I'm Samson Balogu, and today we turn the spotlight on a subject that eats at the very core of our democracy, which is the Constitution Review. what Nigerians truly want. Over 2 decades since the return of civilian rule, the calls for restructuring and constitutional amendments have grown louder across different religions, regions and generations. From debates and state police, fiscal federalism to devolution of power and rotational presidency. The Nigerian people are demanding a constitution that reflects their realities, protects their rights, and promotes justice, equity, and unity. But how far have our lawmakers gone in truly listening to these demands? What do the masses really want from a new and restructured constitutional order? And is the current process inclusive and sincere enough to birth a document for the people, by the people? Today we unpack these burning questions with our guests and hear from citizens whose hopes and frustrations continue to shape the national conversation on constitutional reform. Good morning once again. This is The Big Story. Don't forget you can keep the conversation going by linking up with us on all social media platforms, Facebook, Instagram, and TikTok at Dominion Broadcast, and on X, formerly Twitter, at Dominion Cast. Do well to subscribe to our YouTube channel at Dominion Broadcast. Welcome to The Big Story. Today, I won't be doing this alone. I have with me, all the way from Abuja, Professor Taufik Adeshina Aziz is the Professor of Communication and Language Arts at the Department of English, University of Abuja. He's also the Chief Imam, University of Abuja, Imam Dawa Front of Nigeria. Good to have you in the studio, sir.
Thank you. Thank you for having me.
Thank you for joining us.
Welcome.
Okay, now, there's a lot to talk about, the constitutional reform. People are asking questions. And then it's about to happen. Again, we want to see it. Let's take it back a little bit. We have had the National Confab. There's the Orasai report and several other reports that till today, none of these reports have been implemented. In fact, under the Goodluck Jonathan administration, there were calls that, okay, we have had the National Confab. What is the result? And if the result is available, why are we not implementing it? Because this is a true reflection, or probably close to the true reflection of what the people of Nigeria are actually looking for. What stopped it, Professor?
What stopped
the implementation of the former report? Before we talk about the new reforms.
Yeah, once again, thank you for having me.
You're welcome, sir.
I don't know how much time we have, but there are questions that we should ask and clarify before we can go forward. You kept saying the people. People are asking, who are these people?
Nigerians.
Who are these Nigerians?
You and I.
Not you and I. I'm not asking any question. I'm a professor. I know what Nigeria is. It's a business. So I don't bother myself about it. And many of us professors, except politicians among us, don't. Let me start from the basis. How did we arrive at Nigeria? There were 7 great empires and kingdoms before colonialism. We have vestiges of Songhai Empire in the north, Kanem Borno Empire, now in Borno State
State.
Sokoto Empire in Sokoto State that spanned up to
the
Kwara.
Sokoto Caliphate.
The Sokoto Empire. You choose to call it Kafil, it's okay, Caliphate, whatever. We have the Zaria Kingdom. We have the Jukun Kingdom, Kororafa Kingdom. We had Oyo, great Oyo Empire. I'm proudly one of them. We have Benin Kingdom. We have this. They put it into our heads that we were colonized, we were civilized. No, we were conquered. It wasn't peaceful at all. Institutions were removed, demolished. And strange people were brought together. Intentionally. So that there will be no unity, no focus, there will be distractions, there will be agitations. For example, The Igbos behave like Jews. The Hausas behave like Arabs, and they may be Arabs. The Yorubas behave partly like Fulani, like Hausa, like Nupe, especially Oyo people. And the Arab-Israeli conflict that started from the beginning will continue to play out where people like them coexist. You can see the Igbos occupying everywhere in Nigeria, buying our lands, buying our houses, buying everything. You can't buy a finger length of land in Igbo land. We don't care about all this, but we care about a constitution. What is this constitution about? It's a package to keep us there and to produce a government that will exploit, tyrannize, steal on behalf of those who created Nigeria. Creation of Nigeria was intentional. If we can make it euphemistic, àwọn Arabi ló kọ́ Japa now. What Japa wá síbí ni? They came here, saw resources, and then decided that they should first bring education, religion. Education will be provision of schools that will produce clerks and interpreters in the church. And then they will produce clerks for the multinational companies that were exploiting our resources, especially cocoa in the southwest, granite, ice and skin in the north, oil palm in the east and the south. You know, they give us schools to produce people who administered these resources that they were stealing. And they produced the church that will make us obedient. And then schools became slave camps. You know, you were programmed to go to school, get a piece of paper, turn that piece of paper into a god, to seek, to
make ends meet.
No, not to make ends meet. You don't make ends meet. You can't make ends meet. To produce entitlement mentality in you, that I've gone to school, I have an evidence, give me a job. Schooling to be a slave. And they package it in a beautiful name, civil servant, public servant. What is the difference between a servant and a slave? It's just name. It's just packaging. Now, they did this, and for 100 years they succeeded in keeping us down, not allowing us to ask basic questions. I'm from the reality. And each time I wake up, I remember that we were kings. We were Alashe Ikeji Orisha. It was a check and balance, so that the Oba was Alashe. He's an authority, he makes law, but Ashetoba Tukulobampa. In my own kingdom, we had the Oyomesi that are like the legislators. They can control situation. They can stop laughing. That was a perfect system. These people came, replaced all this with government. Government is an administrative unit to steal. They train our people a subject under a king, Labi Oba, will now become governor and now install an Oba and now remove him. And Alaafin was removed before. The later Ujale was removed by a governor, you know, Victor Nobanjo, removed late Awujale. It doesn't make sense, and we're not asking questions. Yobo wa monto ma pe, wọ́n pè ní ìjọba ọba. Into jo niye ìjọba. And who are these people that replace the colonialists? Our own people, our own children. Most of who are vagabonds, criminals. Who put them there? Other criminals. we're not asking these basic questions. Who produced the Constitution? These criminals. And when you produce a Constitution, it will serve your interest. Is it possible for me to be a senator or a member of House of Representatives and put my hand on a document that will serve the interests of the people? No, it is not natural. What is natural is if you enjoy a privileged position, you don't want to leave it. Now, how does a governor get there? In Oyo State here. Some of my brothers and friends that have been jumping up and down, they want to be governors, I ask them basic questions. Have they asked you this question before? It is, do you have 10 billion naira to burn? 10 billion naira to burn. So only 10 billion to masunno. It's not.
You will not come back for
it. To basun after burning 10 billion, then you can start campaigning. Professor Governor. If you spend billions to become governor, in what way are you going to serve the people? If it is true that 4 trillion naira was spent in the last election, 3 trillion to buy some characters, to stop some characters from winning the election, and 1 trillion for the obvious thing, why is it that we are surprised if we are functionally educated? Why is it that we are surprised that the first action of Mr. President was to remove subsidy? Removing this subsidy to go into which pocket? Oando, who owns NNPC? NNPC will now collect the subsidy. Who owns NNPC? Oando. Who owns Oando? Tinubu. People are not asking questions.
That's a bold claim. Not
claim. You can fact check. I didn't say President Tinubu, I said Tinubu. Is this a fact? Is it not fact? Is it not a fact? You're a journalist.
The facts are there, obviously.
Okay. Now, if we are educated, why are we surprised? Why are we not asking questions? Why were we saying it was a bold step? That was the right step in the right direction. How far have we fared? Then somebody spent so much money. He had some dollars left. There have been deals. There are issues. There have been issues. The next thing was to float the naira, so that dollar became 1,000 naira. Now it's over 1,000 naira. Life is hard, but the businessman must make his money. Within 1, 2, 3 months, he had made his money. He had made his trillions. You pay this person, and whoever is supported to become senator and to become functional head of that senate, whoever is supported to become governor, whoever is giving money to as governor to secure 2027, you expect all these people to come together and make laws that will serve the interests of the people. Are they going there to serve Nigeria? That's why I said, when you said people are asking, who are these people? Who are the people asking? Are you talking about 70% of Nigerians that are virtual illiterate? Virtual illiterate. They don't know their left from their right. Even, I won't be surprised that some of these facts that I'm rolling out now were strange to you, as educated as you are. Even those of us who claim to be educated, there are many things we don't know. Then we just went to school, they programmed us to believe whatever they say is correct.
Okay, now if we want to talk about the constitutional reform that is on the table now, which specific areas of the constitution do you believe needs urgent amendment?
Well, I am not quite familiar with the 1999 constitution.
It has been amended so many times.
As amended. But I have a fundamental request that is not popular. It is to democratize democracy.
How?
To make democracy to work. Hand over this democracy to the people. Don't create parties. Parties are already here. 3 parties. three warring parties, the Muslims, the Christians, that the Sese people, Ifa Council, were going to court over the burial of late Awujale. They are also strong. The traditional institutions are political parties. What is the idea? Let these people produce candidates. We don't need to vote. It will cost a lot of money. Democracy is too expensive anywhere in the world.
Are you one of those who believe democracy should be made less expensive?
Should be made costless, not less expensive, to cost us nothing. Taxpayers' money? No. When you waste this money, you do nothing when you get there. But let these three people come together and say, this is what we want. This is the way out. Let us produce the best from the Muslims, the best from the Christians, the best from the traditional people. Every scripture, including Ifa. I'm a Muslim, an Imam. You introduced me. But without prejudice, Ifa is an archive. Ifa has an opinion even on Christianity, on Islam. Ayelabafa, Ayelabamole, Osogagani Bawale. It's an Ifa. Ifa is 16. Computer is 16. Ifa is binary, 2 AG, Ejiobe. Computer is binary, 2, 0, 1.
Ones and zeros.
They came here to steal it. They call it Oracle. They went there, they modified it, they came back. Can they do without Oracle today? Computer Oracle. Is it not the same thing? Ifa is a very intelligent archive. It has strong philosophy. Let's have a good Ifa person to come and rule according to Ifa. Let's have a good Muslim to come and rule according to Islam. Let's have a good Christian to come and rule according to the canon law.
Wouldn't there be conflict of interest along the way?
There won't be. Our interest is not your religion. Our interest is your performance. Which of these religions preaches lying, corruption, all sorts of corruption? Let us give the lie to them. Instead of they causing trouble, overeating the polity, let them come and rule. So that when there is trouble, when any of them commits an offense, we hand them over to the institution that produced them. Let them come, let the Sharia take care of the Muslim that misbehaves.
Wouldn't that divide Nigerians across religious lines?
It won't. It will re-educate Nigerians. Nigerians will now say, okay.
Because now, in the north, they are predominantly Muslims.
No, let me give an example. Let me give an example. The JAMB registrar. Is he doing well?
According to the people.
He's doing well. Isn't he doing well? Is he not doing well? He's the Secretary General of Supreme Council for Islamic Affairs. Whatever kind of integrity you want to call it, he has integrity. He has integrity. Let's find a person like that too. Reverend Bishop Hassan Kuka. Let's put him there. Let these people bring people like them from the grassroots. Let's generate people of integrity according to their faith. They're not going there to preach faith. You know, in New Zealand, in Canada, you cannot preach religion. In workplace, politics, religion, no. But you are free to practice your religion anyhow. A Muslim in Canada, in UK, will wear niqab. Muslim girl will go to school with the hijab. In Nigeria, which was colonized by Britain, we have to fight for a Muslim girl to wear hijab. What are we talking about? We are religionizing things. We are not interested in function, we are not interested in performance, we are interested in sentiment. If we put religious people there, let them showcase what their religion has in stock for us. What value does that religion have? These corrupt people who are destroying Nigeria, are they not Muslim and Christians?
And what effect has religious influence had on the Nigerian constitution as reformed on so many occasions?
Zero. Zero. Because the Christian and Muslims who go there and do constitutional reforms are thieves and criminals.
Some say politicians hide under the guise of religion to perpetrate some heinous
Give me an example. Give me an example of what they do. Hiding under religion.
They were sworn in. Some were sworn in with the Quran, some with the Bible, and yet we have the Nigeria we have today.
That is drama. Drama. What's the big deal about being sworn in? Where was their integrity when they were stealing? When they were doing money rituals in order to get enough money to go there? Where is the conscience of the pastor and the imam when these criminals came to them and they sold them to their congregation? Where is the conscience? NSAS, for example, we know all the connections, we know the troubles. So that is why I said, okay, let us open this matter. Let us stop hiding.
Now, very quickly, still talking about constitutional reform, some have clamored for state policing, resource control and devolution of power, which are key demands. Now, how feasible are these changes in our current political climate?
Well, if we go back to the regions controlled most of the resources. Southwest region produced Cocoa House and the first television. That was when there was relative peace, relative education, and the education was free. Following after the British model, education would be free up to secondary school. Now, the North also produced their granite pyramids, and every region, the East, had their coal and so on. Every region developed, and there was relative competition. Who brought in unitary government? Who crashed the regions? Do you know? Go and find out. And why? Why?
Okay, now we are still coming to that. Some have clamored for the return to regional system of government.
Yes.
And
I belong to that one.
I want to ask you this question. Recently, the President of the Federal Republic of Nigeria, took a bold step by creating development commissions. In the Southwest, South, majority of the regions in Nigeria now have development commissions. Just like we used to have the Niger Delta Development Commission. Now, as it stands, is this the backdoor to regional system of government that the President of the Federal Republic of Nigeria is trying to follow? Or is trying to make sure that even if I cannot regionalize Nigeria, there is a way we can actually make sure that these regions return back to what it used to be?
I do have access to the mind of Mr. President.
But is this the backdoor to regional system of government?
So I can't say, because it must be in his mind. And I don't read minds. And I don't trust politicians. This can also be anything. It could be vengeance. It could be an attempt to get at some people. But it is good. It's a good thing. It's a good thing. Except that every policy in Nigeria is an attempt to provide jobs for the boys. It's an attempt to provide jobs for the boys and keep them quiet. Shut their mouths. Now go and eat. These development commissions will attract a lot of money. They will also attract a lot of traffic. Traffic of politicians, contractors, and the rest of them.
Some people
like many things in Nigeria, they will go the way many good policies have gone. No implementation, no impact on the people, but to put money into the pockets of few.
I was about
apparently it's good.
I was about to ask that question.
Yeah.
What mechanisms should be in place to ensure that the review process is people-driven rather than elite controllers?
It can be people-driven because the majority of the people don't know what's going on. And their representatives bought their conscience to get there. They didn't participate. Let me give you a simple example. What is the estimated population of Nigeria?
Around 200 to 250 million.
Let's say just 200 million. What is the total population of politicians in all the parties, including those in offices?
Are you saying they concentrate on the politicians alone?
No, don't answer the question. How many do you think there are? Give them 10 million. They are not up to. But give them 10 million. What is the percentage of 10 million out of 200 million? Now, when they want to produce their candidates, they want to do their primaries, how many of them do it? How many delegates? Then these delegates will be bribed, will produce the candidate the caucus wants. Sometimes the candidate the president wants from the grassroots, even from local government. The candidate the president wants as senator, the candidate the president wants as governor, the candidate the president wants as president. You know, sometimes the president may be going and he must produce the candidate that he wants. Now, when they produce their candidates, how many people voted last election? How many million? Total voters. How many millions? You have forgotten or you don't know.
I am the interviewer here, so that's why I
let's say 50 million voted. We are not up to 50 million that voted. We are not up to. How is democracy government of the people, by the people, for the people? Majority did not participate. I only endorsed. Is
it the fault of the government or the fault of the people themselves? So there are times voter register were put out there. People are asked to register to be voters.
How many
but so many of them do not
register?
go.
Yes. What is the level of voter education? And is it deliberate and intentional? You don't want people to know.
Many a times the National Orientation Agency puts information out there for people to actually...
For hungry people who are basically struggling to feed, poverty is an intentional affliction.
So you are saying poverty is now is a weapon?
It's a weapon. It has been weaponized more than 100 years ago.
What's the way out of this? Weaponizing poverty for the people?
It is deliberate, functional education. We have a school too, but this commercialized education can never produce good citizens. When we don't ask questions, why is it that in Europe, in America, when my child reaches 18, I stop financial responsibilities on him? He's a free and independent person. Why is it that I have a 31-year-old child in my house still eating my food? Why did I have to spend my money to send my children to university? My colleagues still say that people should have access to university education. For what? I'm a professor. We don't need university education. China is leading the world in technology and other things. Commerce. China is converting its universities into polytechnics. Nigerians are converting colleges of education, polytechnic, into universities. Our brains have problems. We have mental issue as educated people.
There used to be a time where technical colleges were the order of the day.
And we were producing.
To technical colleges.
We were producing. What went wrong? Professors got mad. We got mad. We want more universities so that people with little brains will become professors. Then they'll be earning pittance and they'll be happy. You see how stupid we were? To say that we should not retire until 70, when will I become senile? When productivity to have dropped to almost zero. I attempted to retire 3 years ago when I clocked 60. And they told me, Prof, you try it, you won't get a dime until you reach 70. So here I am, 7 hardest years for nothing. Because in the last 20 years, drones have been coming into the academics. Because we don't know the purpose of university education. It is to provide specialized education to solve problems. ASUU has become a problem to be solved.
Even ASUU, that should solve problems.
That should solve problem is a problem to be solved. In 2020, when we were going on strike, I warned them. I was on sabbatical in Olabiso Onabanjo. I said, there will be shut down. There will be lockdown. You are going on strike. When there will be lockdown, what effect would that strike have? Many of us are still paying for going on that strike. Another strike, I said, let this be the last strike. Why must we always go on strike? What are we...
Are there other ways to get things from the government?
Are there no other ways?
Some say the government do not listen to dialogues.
So are we not researchers? Aren't we able to intellectually fathom a means of making government listen to dialogue?
Will true federalism fix Nigeria's problems?
It will. But will it happen? Will they allow it to happen? There are many people who will not be anything in this country, except that there is a federal government.
Some are clamoring for creation of new states. Is that a way to feed more political jobbers?
In a way. But again, I support it in a way. Because it will break down hegemonies. It will break down entitlement mentality in some places. It will bring government closer to the people. If, for example, they create Okeogun State today, I will be exceedingly happy. We are one people. Okeogun, we are one people. Every time in Okeogun is like one big family. But people that will stand up to contest election in the community and we will say Omo Tani Wonle, they will prefer to go to federal and become important. Those who are not important at home, they bribe their ways to federal. It is good. I believe that when we decentralize, when we make democracy more democratic, when people participate, like my own suggestion, let these people who claim to be perfect, who abuse people, people who claim that somebody will go to hell, and those who say the two of them will go to hell,
give them responsibilities.
Give them responsibility. Let them come and showcase what that faith is.
Now, lastly, before we go, Professor, what practical steps can citizens take now to influence and monitor the process beyond simply hoping for a change?
Yes, in Nigeria you can still protest. I don't object to protest, but it must be educated and informed protest. Let's get an issue. Then we do advocacy. Again, there will be need for two things: education, leadership. Education, leadership. If you are educated, you know the issue. Then who leads you? So that the thugs will not hijack it. And who will make the thugs hijack it? The government you are trying to bring to table for dialogue. We send the thugs, the area boys, the Orisa, they will send them to you to hijack simple protest. You remember NSAS?
NSAS.
It was hijacked by government.
Prof, we simply have to go. Our time is fast spent on this show.
Yeah.
We say very big thank you for joining us in the studio.
You're welcome.
My guest has been Professor Taofeek Adeshina Azeez. He's a professor of communication and language arts at the Department of English, University of Abuja. He is also the Chief Imam, University of Abuja, Imam Dawa Front of Nigeria. Thank you for joining us in the studio today.
You're welcome once again.
And that's where we'll leave it on the big story today. The Constitution isn't just a document. It is the soul of a nation. And if that soul is weak or disconnected from the people, it is only a matter of time before the cracks show. As Nigeria marches on, the people must not only be heard, they must be seen in the very pages of the laws that govern them. Until next time, I am Samson Balogun. Stay informed, stay engaged, and remember, democracy thrives when the people truly own the process. All right, let's head straight on a short break, and when we return, Daybreak Live continues on Dominion Television.
Grapes are versatile fruits that grow on vines and come in various shapes and colors, including green, red, and purple. They can be enjoyed fresh, dried into raisins, or transformed into juice and wine. Packed with antioxidant, vitamin C, and potassium, grapes offer a wealth of nutritional benefits. Incorporating grapes into your diet can greatly enhance your overall health due to their rich array of vitamins, minerals, and antioxidants. Here are some key benefits of grapes. It supports cardiovascular health. Grapes provide a significant source of potassium, which helps in regulating blood pressure. Additionally, the presence of antioxidants like resveratrol may offer protective effects against heart disease, making grapes an excellent addition to a heart-healthy diet. It promotes eye health. With antioxidants such as lutein and zeaxanthin, grapes contribute to better eye health. These compounds may help shield against conditions like cataract and age-related macular degeneration, supporting long-term vision. It aids in cancer prevention. Certain compounds found in grapes, including resveratrol and other polyphenols, have demonstrated potential in laboratory and animal studies for inhibiting cancer cell growth. This makes grapes a valuable fruit to consider in a cancer prevention strategy. It enhances digestive health. The fiber content in grapes is beneficial for digestion and can help prevent constipation, promoting a healthy digestive system. It offers additional benefits. Grapes also contribute to immune function due to their vitamin C content and support bone health through their vitamin K and mineral profile. By including grapes in your diet, you can effectively boost your intake of essential nutrients while enjoying a delicious and refreshing fruit.
All right, welcome back from that short break. The show is still Daybreak Live right here on Dominion Television, the Monday edition. Do well to follow us on all socials, Facebook, Instagram, and TikTok at Dominion Broadcast, and on X, formerly Twitter, at Dominion Cast. Now, it is time for Trend Watch, where we'll take you through the world of social media and what's trending. Yemi Adelakun is still here. Together, we'll be making sense of stories on social media.
Of course, I'm glad to be back here, Samson. Well done.
There's something interesting we'll be talking about this morning, and that's Davido's second baby mama, who was saying, look, it's not a competition. So if you think I should be married because my mates are getting married, I don't think it's your business to talk about it.
Exactly, or because our baby mama, got married, I think last year. So was it last year or this year?
Yeah, I think it was earlier.
Exactly. So I really do not see why people would try to talk about people's personal lives this way. It's a decision if she wants to get married or she wants to stay like that. For a while, it's a decision, and I don't think marriage is something you do because other persons close to you are doing it. You must be very sure before you venture into it. It's a lifetime thing. It's not something.
Of course, you enroll for that. You get your certificate in the beginning.
Yeah.
People always know that when you are going to school, your certificate always comes at the end of the course. But this one, you get it at the beginning. So
no matter
it tells you how tricky it can be.
Something like that. It's not just any event center. I feel like you know what I'm trying to say.
I just wanted to be sure that probably it was overcrowded, and then
maybe some of the air conditioner malfunctioned. We don't know. We can't tell. But the fact that a newly renovated place,
they could actually,
expectations are high.
They probably forgot to put some of it on. Actually,
I don't agree with you on that.
I'm just saying. There's different reasons, and then probably the generator could not power all the air conditions.
Really, ICC for that matter, not just a roadside event center.
There are reasons some things.
I know what you are trying to do. Really.
What
Don't also forget that the EFCC chairman was there. He attended the Sheyi Vote party, and Isaac Fawashe was saying that the EFCC, thank God he was present, and then he knows that 39 billion was used to renovate that place. It's time for him to actually look into the issues.
There should be an investigation.
No, I'm just trying to quote Isaac Fawashe because I watched the video yesterday night and I was also laughing, especially when he said that he was sweating like Christmas boots.
Probably Abuja was extremely hot.
Really, because the party, even the people that attended the party, they were hot. If you watch the videos, a very fantastic birthday.
Hello guys, it's your girl Odere. Keep watching Dominion Television, your channel.
I had no doubt in my mind that with this collection, we're going to set agenda. More importantly, we are going to enforce social ethics. Because part of the problem of Nigeria is that the state is too powerful and the society is too weak. So when the state begins to misbehave, the weak society has no power to hold them into control. So we begin to do social ethicizing. So we not only report, we will not only inform, we will also set agenda.
Oh, Odere koko alafiani. Hello guys, it's your girl Odere. Keep watching Dominion Television, your channel of peace.
Well, Pablo Picasso says that art is a lie that makes us realize truth, at least the truth that is given to us to understand. On that note, I say good morning and welcome to the agenda on Dominion Brokers Group. I am Chike Obogu. Let's talk some politics this morning before we delve into arts. Edo